Hello everybody, welcome to G for G on YouTube. Today we are in Marvel Future Fight, taking a look at the Squirrel Girl update. Well, actually, let's call this the Gwenpool update. It's the Gwenpool update, not Squirrel Girl. So, we've got a few new heroes to take a look at, including Songbird, who is recently making an appearance in Marvel Avengers Alliance. I must admit, I think she is definitely better looking here than in MAA. Her face doesn't look quite as harsh, and she looks a little less Phoenix-ish in this than she does in MAA, which kind of looks like a palette swap Phoenix. There's Squirrel Girl. So, let's take a look at the new heroes that we've got. We have Gwenpool, or I like to call her Sperm Head, because her head looks like a sperm. See? You can't unsee that. That's a sperm. So she's pretty interesting. These are some of her skills. When I take her out on a mission, you guys will be amazed. She's just crazy. Her movement is odd. She's way too happy and upbeat. Yeah, like that move right there pretty much defines Gwenpool's character. So, of course, she just has the one uniform. She has the default ISO set of Healing Factor. And as we pan over through all the ones that I have, which is pretty much everybody in the game except for the new heroes and the world bosses. I should have Proxima, but I messed that up during her event. So we have White Tiger, we have a newly reclassified Squirrel Girl, we have Hulking, we have Wiccan, and we have Songbird. So, how did Squirrel Girl appear in this game? She is supposed to be used as a mutant. Well, even though back in the day she introduced herself to Iron Man as a mutant, the MCU has recently reclassified her as not a mutant. I think in recent comics, her mother has admitted that no, she's in fact not a mutant. And it's kind of really sad because I don't like this infighting between MCU and the mutant universe, but it is sadly an unfortunate fact of life for now until everything is unified. But, you know, it's essentially what they've done with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And I will always say that X-Men's Quicksilver in the movies is far better than that turd we had in Age of Ultron. So White Tiger, I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about, as she is definitely one of the ones to get, and she is in the first available special mission. Songbird is in specials also. Squirrel Girl is in specials. Hulking is in specials. And Wiccan is in specials too. Kind of reminds me of Strider from PlayStation game in the old Sega Strider. Gwenpool, however, you need to have the monthly subscription in order to get her. There are also two uniforms in the store. That looks like a blue She-Hulk, but it's not. It's a new uniform for Nebula that, of course, adds the 10% boost and adds a stun effect to Sudden Strike. We also have a new uniform for Wasp. It was actually... Is that Wasp over here? Yeah, so... none of these changed their classes, but again, we get the 10%, and this time we get a 5% activation rate when attacking to paralyze an enemy for 2 seconds. That one seems pretty cool. I don't know that either one of these characters are in a high tier ranking right now, so you may want to save your money. There's White Tiger. She is who you deal with first. And we have a login reward that is going for the entire month. Sadly, in my free chest, I got bios for Groot. So I have this chest already, and I got 32 Groot bios out of it instead of some of the new heroes, which a lot of people were getting new heroes out of this one. We have 240 token selectors throughout the month. We have one here, and in the last week, we have 350 of the level 5 chips. So we're getting 150 of those. We have 100,000 twice, 4 times, then 2 times of 150,000 gold, and then finally 200,000 gold. We get 300 crystals. We get a 6-star custom gear, a 6-star awakened ISO, a legendary combat card, and then finally we get a tier 2 advancement ticket. So this is going to be a busy month, and you're going to definitely want to log in every single day this week. So there's new Wasp. There's, of course, the banner for Squirrel Girl. It says Hero XP Boosting Event. Here are the new specials. I am not really too sure if this means that the other specials are gone or not. If anybody knows that, let me know down below. But it could mean that we no longer have access to the other specials that we did. So that would be pretty sad if somebody's still trying to go through and get bios from those. Like I was getting Yellow Jacket from the Ant-Man one, but I don't know. Well, actually, let's see. Let's go find Yellow Jacket over here and see what it says as to where his bios come from. Yep, they've been pushed out. So, yeah, Dimension Rifts now. If you did not complete your Guardians of the Galaxies or your Ant-Mans to your liking, they're gone. There's Wiccan. I love that effect. This game does one of the coolest things with this. Like, one of Gamora's suits has this, and another character's got it, and he's got... I love that effect. Graphically, I think that is just the coolest thing ever. This shifting universe. And I mean, it's just the way they do it here on Gamora, where she's part uniform and part that effect. I think it's amazing. And then we have, I believe it's Singularity. Yeah, I mean, she is the universe completely. I just love that effect. Graphically, that has been one of my favorite things I think I've ever seen in any game. And, you know, with this month and everything, and this update, Netmarble is continuing to prove that they are one of the most generous companies when it comes to doing stuff for Marvel games and just giving stuff out and being cool to their community. I mean, I definitely rank... on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give Netmarble definitely a 9. They kind of dipped a little bit when they charged exorbitant amounts of money for you to respin your PvP. And, of course, they did fix that. So here's Gwenpool. I'll show you her out on the map. You know, and then they reeled that in, and they got better. But, I mean, I would definitely... crap. I'm going to have to take her to another one. I would rank them definitely number 1, and I would give them, you know, a 9 out of 10. Ah, cool! We get 2 of the... Oh, that's awesome. Topical. 9 out of 10 on the scale. I would then give Marvel Heroes a close second place, and I would give them about a 7.5 to an 8. Played on with counting Marvel Avengers Alliance 1 and 2. I'm gonna kind of knock them down to a 5 lately. I mean, they're digging a really bad hole with the community and stuff. The fact that they've nerfed several items that people have paid good money for, like the Ball of Binding and the Heroes for Hire, when they used to be free actions, and we already had to deal with that initial cooldown. Then they made them quick actions and whatnot. Marvel Avengers Alliance 2, I used to have amazing luck with my gold cells. After they changed it from a dedicated 5 gold to the random cells, you know, when they first did that, I was getting so many 8s and 10s, and I was like, wow, this is great for me. But I had a lot of friends who complained about it. They didn't like it. Now, my luck has gone to complete shit. I get 3s and 2s. And it's a rare day in hell if I get a 10 or even so much as a 5. I mean, it's crazy. That game has definitely dipped badly for that one. So let's do this one, and you guys get to see Gwenpool in action. And as I said, the only way to get Gwenpool is to get the monthly biometrics. Now, that is one valid criticism that people will give Netmarble, is that there have been several characters that you have to spend money on to get. And that is, of course, the people through the subscriptions like Hype and Gwenpool and Carnage. But, I mean, in all honesty, $8 for something that winds up being exceptionally cool for the entire month, I mean, that's a two-person order at Starbucks, or that's two single orders at Starbucks over a bunch of days. I mean, $8 for a month worth of goodies is incredible. If you had $8 added per month to a phone bill, a cable bill, a cell phone bill, you wouldn't bat an eye. So, I mean, it is bad to put people behind a paywall and totally restrict them. However, I mean, 8 isn't really that bad. So here she is. There's her moves. She skips around. She throws grenades, which you won't be able to see because she's hugging him so close. But I love characters with spin moves in this game because she got her ass kicked. It really keeps them out of a lot of trouble. And they tend to avoid a lot of damage with that. There's her game over. And she bears a little bit of resemblance to like a cross between Elsa and Deadpool. She's like a Deadpool with kind of Elsa's visual abilities and everything. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the others. I had the chance to put the one special in unlimited mode. I was trying to film this earlier, but for some reason I had that moment where the card wouldn't record, so wound up rebooting, and I'm now doing this in the morning instead of late at night. So here's one of my leveling squads. I've got my main group. This is my heavy hitters that do all the progression story and my PvP. This is a leveling group. That's a speed leveling group for Elsa, because I like Elsa. I'm not going to say people are going to recommend her for things, but I like her a lot, and Ant-Man is definitely a highly recommended speed hero. So this is one leveling team, and here's another leveling team anchored by my most powerful character, that Ultron. And we're going to have to do a little bit of ISO maintenance here, so what I'm going to do is do some forging. Now this is actually something that was removed from the game. Well, not removed from the game, but it used to be a daily to go ahead and buff your ISOs and everything. So let's see if we can give her an energy. That's a shitty bonus. Let's try to change that to something good. That seems pretty cool. Alright, so let's try to get her a green. And then forge that, and then I'll fix the rest of that later. And when my inventory gets full, I like to try to work on enhancing ISOs of some of my top characters, rather than just doing a sell. I like to devote to this. Now, there are still some challenges that work with enhancing ISOs, but it's no longer part of the daily. And as some people have pointed out, that when you use the augments, that unfortunately won't count. You have to actually use regular ISOs for it. So what I like to do for people who are not necessarily in the main group, I like to burn off some cheapies. That's usually how I free up my inventory if I can. So I'd definitely love to be showing you some of these new guys, but of course this will trickle in. Either you are lucky enough to get one of them out of a new chest, which some people do. I do know some people who got Squirrel Girl and Songbird from opening that initial chest. Otherwise, you have to go through the specials to get their bios. And for Gwen, of course, you do need the subscription. And in all honesty, like I said, I don't think the subscription is that bad, considering there are definitely people who spend $50 to $100 a month for Marvel Avengers Alliance 1. $8 is so bad, but, you know, locking it behind a paywall is, of course, debatable. But at least you could say, at least it's not an incredibly expensive paywall. And then the last company for the Marvel games that I would rank on the greed scale would be Kabam, with Marvel Contest of Champions. I give those guys a 2, and they are definitely last place for me. I think Kabam for MCC is just greedy as fuck. Their real-life conversion into game currency is awful. I mean, I think, that Peter Parker's wallet is the smallest thing you can get, and that's about $5, and you get a pittance for that. I mean, Oliver Twist, please, may I have some more, sir? I mean, that game, I think, is definitely the worst. We can debate Playdom at times, and I mean, that's certainly valid to be hating on Playdom. It's also certainly valid to be supporting them. But to me, Kabam, I just think they're awful with MCC. So there's the update. We have new characters: Wiccan, Hulking, Squirrel Girl. We have Gwenpool, and we have Songbird. We, of course, have the new uniforms for Wasp and Nebula. And we have a new special to get the bios for these new heroes. I've heard White Tiger is going to be pretty good. She has a move where she flips forward and then gets invincibility frames and flips back. Here's my collection right now. I was working on Yellow Jacket when I would do my daily specials. That will be different now. One of my favorites, the Witch Hunter Angela. Some other people that I was working on. I am working on Iron Fist. Moon Knight's in a pretty good spot right now. Iron Man just flipped over recently for me. I'm working on Kingpin. I'm working on Ant-Man. Was working on Silk. I'm going to calm down on Silk a little bit now. And I topped out my Hype, my Elsa, Lady Loki, Ultron, Hulkbuster, and of course, Sharon. And, you know, I've heard some decent things about Sin, but I'm going to backburner her a little bit for Ant-Man and Kingpin. And at least for a little while, my daily bios are going to get put into Gwenpool to get her up to a respectable area. I really like that Songbird. It's just a pleasant look to see every time I log into the game. So, let's see. I think, what is it, weekly that has the... Yeah, there it is. It's weekly that you get a reward for enhancing ISOs, but it's not daily now. Of course, weekly you have the timeline battles, the special missions. I mean, if you're... This one's going to be... Wow, that one's actually going to be a little tough. If you're locked into 2 a day, you're only going to get up to 14. You'll have to put some of these in unlimited mode to get this, but obviously at 16,000 units of energy, I'm not going to need energy for quite some time. We have a quest here. I need 3 more heroes ranked up to 3 stars. That's pretty much it. So that is the Gwenpool update. Spermhead. Here's Squirrel Girl. Visually. Oh, yeah, the lab has changed quite a lot. Whereas it used to look like a base, like an RTS home base, we now have this, kind of like virtual reality looking UI. This is the warp device. So this is where your missions are now. In this little piston, basically. We have the chest giving you the converters, and we have this little hologram as the item shop. And this is what I've got available for me today. These will pick up some of those chips for fun. Dimension debris, biometrics from MODOK. Let's see, how much is it to rank it up? 23. Yeah, I think I can afford that. I haven't ranked up any of my stuff in the lab for a little while. See, the generator. It's not too bad. So there you go. There is the, and there's hulking. Kind of an odd look to him. Shoulder pad's weird being the same color as the arms, but there is the Gwenpool update, and you know, as usual, Netmarble's just cranking out the content over here, and this one's a pretty big patch, and I think the only negative about it is the other specials going away. I don't know if they announced that. That may have been a surprise. I don't follow Netmarble's news quite as much as some of the other Marvel games, like Marvel Avengers Alliance 1 and 2, but if anybody knows that they released information that the other specials are going away, let me know in the comments below, because if they kind of sprung that on people, that I think would be a little bit shitty. But other than that, this update is really cool. Thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Have a good day.